guys, it's Jess, and today's video is gonna be all about vintage. As some of you may know, my mom and I bought a storage unit in August. It was located about 3 hours away from me, but in the same town as my mom. So every so often, I would travel down there for a couple of days where we would just organize and clean this storage unit, and we'd separate it into different groups. So keep in mind, there was like 6,000 pieces, mostly women's clothing and accessories. And we classified things like this. 1, the things we wanted to sell on eBay and Poshmark, so those vintage items that we thought were worth a little bit of money. 2, what would eventually sell on Poshmark and eBay, so those were more like stuff that we'd price around $10. And number 3, garage sale items that probably weren't even worth $10, and if it's not worth $10, it's not really worth my time to photograph, to measure, to inventory, and then to list. We pretty much completed the organizing and cleaning of the storage unit by October. So I have a few what sold videos out there already for the vintage storage unit that's called like the vintage editions. And I want to continue doing that. 1, because I want to document what we've been selling, and then 2, to give you guys some ideas of what brands sell that are vintage, whether it be the brand or the style. Also, there is a huge item that we ended up selling, and you guys will see what that is in a minute. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the what solds. So I'm going to share what sold on Poshmark and eBay. For Poshmark, we only had 2 items that I want to share. And I just want to emphasize that Poshmark probably isn't the best place for vintage. Most people on Poshmark are looking for more trendy items and more items that are in style right now. So number 1 is this Ralph Lauren Madison floral skirt. It was a maxi skirt and it was full buttoned down the front. Super pretty. And the lady who bought this ended up saying that it was super nice and she loved it so much, but it didn't fit her. She didn't read the measurements. And with vintage, you have to do all measurements because vintage sizing is way different than sizing right now. So this ended up selling for $30, and then after the fee, we took home $24. So the second and final thing that I want to share that sold on Poshmark are a lot of 3 berets. So these were vintage berets by the brand Basque, and they were 100% wool, and they just looked super vintage. So if ever you see berets for a pretty cheap price, like at estate sales or garage sales, probably not Goodwill because they probably would price them up. Anyways, if you can find them for a decent price, I would go ahead and buy them and then lot them up because they do sell pretty quickly. This is actually my 7th item / lot of vintage berets that I've sold in 2020. So out of all the berets that I've sold this year, I've made over $125. So this set of 3 ended up selling for $22, and after fees I made $17.60, and this sold in 1 day. So next we'll hop on over to eBay. And the first item that I want to share that sold on eBay was this vintage 70s geometric print long sleeve dress by the brand Act 3. Now I don't suggest picking up any Act 3 or Act 2. I'm not sure if there's an Act 1, but this one just happened to be super duper 70s in retro, and you could totally tell that this was an older style, and just the print was just, it screamed funky. So it's just pretty cool. So this ended up selling for $37.77, and after the eBay and PayPal fees, I ended up with $32.86. So the next item was a Liz Claiborne, the style name was City Chic, and it was a checkered print, one of the longer dresses in black and white. So again, this isn't a brand I would suggest picking up if you see it out in the thrift store. Liz Claiborne, Liz Wear, Liz Sport. But this one sold, I think, because of the vintage shoulder pads, and it was just very vintagey dress. Plus, this one was new with tags, and the tag, I think, said $109 retail. So this ended up selling for $27.77, and then after fees, we ended up with $24.16. And the third item that sold on eBay that I want to share is a Ralph Lauren silk. It was 100% silk scarf. Most 100% silk scarves are pretty good. I would definitely suggest looking it up on eBay or Poshmark to see what the solds look like. And I would even suggest looking at what's out there right now. And that way you can determine whether you should buy that certain scarf. So being 100% silk and Ralph Lauren, I can see why this sold. So this ended up selling for $34.77, and we ended up with $30.25. So this next item is the fourth item that I want to share, and it is an exciting one. Like, almost as exciting as the last one I'm going to share. So this is a pair of pumps. It's called Easy Spirit. And these were just a leather pair of high heels. Nothing special about them. I don't think I'd suggest picking up Easy Spirit if you do see it. But what is so cool about this is it was bought by a Netflix series called Simply Halston, which comes out later, I guess, this year. So it went to New York and they said that it was for this series. And I think that's super exciting. So like, I'm picturing this as being like somebody's gonna get killed and then they're gonna show the body and you're just gonna see the leg, but it's gonna have the shoe right there. Like, that would be totally awesome, wouldn't it? And then I can be like, hey, that's my shoe. So that's just me imagining how cool this is gonna be, but it's probably just an actress or maybe even one of those background people are gonna wear this shoe. But I'm definitely gonna watch the show all the way through just to find my shoe. So I ended up selling the pair of shoes for $24.77. And after fees, I ended up with $21.55. But it's funny enough because they gave us their FedEx number because they wanted expedited. And they did pay shipping with the price when they bought the item. But we just used their FedEx shipping account so that they could get it in a timely manner. And they didn't ask for a refund, so we didn't give it to them. I think they make enough. And the final and most exciting sale ever in the vintage storage unit is we ended up selling all of those boxes that we had labeled garage sale. So those items that were not worth our time to list because we thought they wouldn't bring in at least $10, we sold them all. So now we don't have to worry about having a garage sale, and we made $400 more than we paid for the whole storage unit. Is that not the craziest thing ever? So hold up, wait a second. I still have approximately 20 boxes to go through that is full of vintage stuff that I thought was worth putting on eBay. So if those boxes have about approximately 50 items in it, that means I still have 2,000 items to list. My mom has approximately 75 shoes that are vintage. And then she has 28 boxes that are like the eBay boxes that were more than $10. And then she has those $10 boxes. So that puts her at about like 2,500 pieces. And as of right now, we have 626 active listings on our eBay store. So that was super exciting and I am super pumped. So I'm gonna give you guys some numbers for our vintage storage unit as of the date we sold those garage sale boxes, which happened to be 6 months to the day we bought the storage unit. So our total gross sales for everything we've done, eBay, Poshmark, consignment store, selling to friends, and then selling the storage unit, we've made $10,743.44. So I'm going to take out those pesky Poshmark and eBay fees, and that leaves us with $9,577.48. So after our initial cost of goods, which would just be what we paid for the storage unit, we have profited $8,077.48. That leaves my mom and I each with $4,038.74. I'd say that's a pretty good profit for a third job, which is a side hustle on top of a side hustle that we both enjoy doing. Also, spending time with my mom and making memories is the best thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you guys watching, and thank you, and have a great day. Bye.